And welcome back to Matriarchy Party, everybody. I have such an amazing guest today, Jasmin Knox. Let's just start with, she's a two-time Emmy-Award winning producer at Entertainment Tonight. You've likely seen her on just crushing the red carpets for films like Maestro. She was there for the Daytime Emmys, the ESPY Awards, the Air Red Carpet, the Golden Globes, the Kids' Choice Awards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's also an on-air host at 90.7 WKKL and host of her own podcast, Be You with Jasmin Knox. We met for the Top Gun Maverick press tour, and that's now been a couple years. So we have to see each other in person soon. But I've been cheering her on via social media ever since I met her. She's so talented and you just want to be around her. She's got this warm aura, and immediately we connected. We're like, did we just become best friends? No, it was almost like that. Yep. Hi, who are you? Yes, I want to work with you. I want to be around you. Welcome, Jasmin Knox, to the podcast.
Yay. Thanks very much for having me. This is awesome. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for your time. I know you're so busy. This is going to be so awesome. So who are we talking about today? Who is your matriarch?
Ooh, my matriarch is my mom for sure.
Yes.
For sure. That's my mom. She's my core. She is my everything. Without her, I don't even know where I would be right now.
Oh, that is a testament to all amazing moms. And you're in California. Does your mom live there as well?
Yes. So I'm in LA and so is she. I've been born and raised here. My mom's actually from Louisiana.
Oh, cool.
And she moved out here when she was 17 years old, just trying to get a better life. And she started working at 18 for the state. And ever since then, she's just been climbing the ramps. She recently retired after 37 years with the company.
Good for her.
And it's just so funny because I feel like me and my sister were born into this. She actually had both of our baby showers at her job, which is amazing.
Wow. When you're thinking of all the people you're probably meeting in your career, it's so interesting because you're like, oh my gosh, you're not a mom yet or at the stage, but you're this is the same. I don't know. These are the people that would be my baby shower if I was where she was in her life at this time, at this age. It's interesting to think about it in that way. Well, that is so cool. You must get to see her all the time.
I do. I mean, sometimes it's a little rough, but I talk to her almost every day. Because LA is pretty big if you think about it. So we're not next door neighbors. So various times she's like, okay, Jazz, put me on your calendar. All right, it's that time. I haven't talked to you. What's going on?
It's so true. You're like, okay, if you're in Pasadena and West Hollywood or Santa Monica, you're like, okay, I need to pencil in an hour and 15 minutes to be able to just have dinner with you. And on a work night, sorry, I'm not going to see you, Mom. I can't make it to the other side. Mm-hmm. Whereas here in Arizona, we were just talking about everything's kind of 20-ish minutes away. So it feels more manageable, but nobody wants to sit in traffic. But that's where you get all your great podcast time, I think.
I was going to say that, yeah. Your podcast, your audiobooks, that's the time to listen to it right then and there. But
100%.
It's funny you say that because if you remember the movie Clueless, when Cher's dad was telling her, you got a curfew everywhere in LA.
Takes 20 minutes.
Yes. And you know what? He actually has a point when there's no traffic.
Yeah.
Not when you're driving late at night and there's no one on the road. You can really get to almost everywhere within anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah. If you just want to make plans at midnight.
Yeah.
It only takes 20 minutes, but it's so true. I've thought about that so many times when I was living there. It actually takes 3 times as much most of the time that I'm ever trying to get anywhere. But yeah, maybe at midnight. Well, I always start this thing off with the first question. When we think of a matriarch, we think of a woman who's the head of their family, tribe, or organization. Mm-hmm. When in your own life, did you feel like you had to demonstrate those traits, whether by necessity or not?
Ooh, I feel like I would demonstrate that trait as in right now. So growing up, it was me, my mother, and my sister in the same household. My mom did marry once upon a time, and they're no longer together, unfortunately. But my mother actually never married my father nor my sister's father. And so we were just the 3 amigos. We were the closest, obviously. And so now that I am, kind of living out my dreams, my mom has been very instrumental to that. I just feel like now I'm kind of the head of the household in a sense. I mean, I'm always helping her when she needs it. Even my sister, who's older than me, comes to my help. Hey, I need this, I need that. Can you do this? Can you do that for me? So I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of the head now because me being like very versatile in my jobs, but also when it comes to technology, they're always looking to me for like help. Like I have all the answers.
I love
Um,
that. And you're the youngest of the siblings, and it's
and I'm
just you
the
and your
youngest.
sister as far
Yeah.
as that's so
Hmm.
funny. I feel like my little sister too, she's in her 30s now, but the littlest one, she's somehow always, I mean, and both of them have been so supportive. They're twins. But it's so funny. Sometimes it's the opposite in that way. I have such like the
Ah.
eldest daughter complex, I guess, that I'm like, I must be the martyr and I will take care of everyone. But it is so interesting when that is contrasted in that way. But
Yeah.
so you're like, I'm still taking care of my older sister and my mom, even though I'm the youngest. I'm parenting up in that way. But I think
Yeah.
none of us would be anywhere without like the support of, I mean, it's like girlhood experience. So whether
Of
that's
course.
your sisters or your close friends or like, it's great to be able to take care of each other. And especially
Mhm.
like with a busy job like you have, like I'm sure you don't have any free time when you're podcasting. I've learned, I haven't been doing it as long as you have, but it's a lot of time and bandwidth that takes, as well as your job is ever changing and you have to work nights and weekends and things. So
Mhm.
when you can still love on your people and support them, that's even
Yeah.
more impactful.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, it's challenging for sure. I would say it's probably one of the biggest challenge throughout this like entire thing, this my career, which I love so much, but that's the biggest challenge because I'm big on family
Yeah.
and not being able to make it to maybe birthdays or holidays and do certain things with them. It really like wears and tears on me a little bit.
I
Makes me
get
sad.
that. I mean, because like for somebody who's so, I think we're similar in that, so career is filling up our joy tank so much.
Mhm.
So, and like love our jobs. But I think this year, especially, I live in Phoenix now. My family's in Phoenix. So, and it's a little bit easier to see them. Whereas like LA, I know it takes a long time, like we were saying in traffic. But I think looking at it like and really building a balanced life of like, where are we all spending our time each day? Like, as much as I love my
Yeah.
job, like, it's got to be like with the people that you love. And if you're
Absolutely.
not being able to like carve out that time, because I found when I was living in LA, I felt like I was like missing milestones or not being able to make it back for like, it's not that far of a flight, an hour, 6 hour drive or something, but like to not miss like just, oh, breakfast with grandparents or being able to
Right.
like go
Yeah.
to like, oh, it's my mom's 60th birthday. I was out of town on a work trip and you're like, you're so conflicted of
Mhm.
wanting to be both places and not half-ass either. But
Exactly.
so I feel that like how it's very conflicting of just wanting to show up and be able to support your family and be with them as much as possible, but simultaneously crush it in your career. It's a
Mhm.
hard, like delicate dance.
It is because especially if like when this in this like job that we do, it's always like, well, how bad do you really want it? Or,
Yeah.
I feel like it's very easy for you to be replaceable because everyone's competing for the same spot.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you kind of have to be available at all times in order to like withstand this industry, you know?
Totally. And still like keep that momentum at a 10 out of
Yeah.
10. Like you said, as much as you're so talented at your job and you're like, and there's no way that anybody can do what I do. I'm the secret sauce. But like there's hundreds of other women that want your job that probably could do it if taught in a way. Like I feel the same way that I'm like, oh, ultimately I'm not the only person in the world that can do this thing that like
Yeah.
the job will get done. There's other people who want it. So you have to stay wanting it and like working at that rate and that pace to stay
Mhm.
competitive. And that's tricky. I'm sure, like, how long have you been at Entertainment Tonight?
2.5
Two and a
years.
half years. Man,
Yeah.
time
2.5
flies.
years. It flies so fast. I mean, they say a lot can happen in a year, but a lot can really happen in a year. I mean
Yeah.
so much has
Well,
happened,
especially in
and
the last
in a
two
great way.
years.
Yeah,
Yes. It's just,
yeah.
I'm sure, I always think I'm like, my husband's been married to like 12 different versions of me. Like, I feel like how much you evolve as a person in a year,
Yeah,
like, that's just a lot can happen in a year. I feel like I've just had
absolutely.
such like these phoenix rising from the ashes moments over and over again as like the industry has been tumultuous between strikes, between COVID, between like just not only industry happenings, world happenings, but it's a lot can happen in a year or two. Do you feel, I mean, I'm sure, where were you before ET?
iHeartRadio.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I was there for about, maybe like 6 years, I think, 6, 7 years, which is my
Wow.
birthday. I was there for a long time, yeah.
Yes. Well, and I'm sure
Um,
your version or your idea of what success looks like has evolved so much. I mean, probably in the last 2
Absolutely.
years and since that role. Like, tell me about what it meant to you maybe when you were first starting at iHeart and then to now, what it looks like.
I think before success was more so like, okay, you had to be driving this kind of car, you had to have this job,
Mm.
and you had to be at like this big party, you know. It was very the glitz and the glam of it all, the highlight reel,
Yeah,
but it wasn't really like the process what you do behind the scenes to make it to that level. And I think also like this job makes you want to believe that you have to just be on the go nonstop, like a team no sleep, you
yeah,
wear it with a badge. And it's like that's not really success. I feel like success to me is like the ultimate peace. It's peace and it's
so
happiness
true.
because peace and happiness you cannot get back. And like once you have that, everything else to me falls into place. It's not really about like what you're wearing. It's not necessarily about how you look because all the materialistic things is here and it's gone. You know, it's just like it's so temporary. But peace and happiness, like that is the ultimate success. And if I'm getting my sleep, then I'm getting my peace.
Yes, I so
So
relate
yeah.
to that. I mean, in so many ways of what you just said, but I think I'm such a sleepy girl. I'm like, if I don't get a solid sleep, I don't care how fun the party is. If I have to be up early to work tomorrow, like I'm going to be no
Yeah.
use to anybody. But it's
Yeah.
so true. I mean, I think especially like working in the entertainment industry like this, you're just seeing it's constant comparison is the thief of joy moments that you're
Right.
interacting with of just like this person's hit this or this person won this award or this person's wearing this designer or this person like is driving a G-Wagon or this person bought a $2 million home and you're like I what is it? Is that really gonna is that just a status symbol to make it whereas at the
Mhm.
beginning it's like you want all of the glamour and the accolades, of course. Like that's still
Mhm.
fun. We all love that. But like true like harmony and balance and peace and like it's like squeezing out fun in your life that's like not monetized. It doesn't have to do with work. Like it's the ultimate success, I feel like.
It
So
really is. And then also too, I just like, I mean, just like many of us, I give myself a hard deadline. Like if I'm not doing this, that, and here by 30 years old or 29, then I've failed. Like
yeah.
I've failed. But I'm gonna be 32 in April, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm happy
Yes.
with my timeline. Before I was really hard on myself about not meeting certain standards at a certain time in my life. But now I'm like, oh, okay. I'd rather be there at the appropriate time,
Yeah.
when I'm fully ready versus just having to be there just because,
A
you
hundred
know?
percent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I am such a firm believer in everything at the right time. Like it could be the right thing, but if you're doing it at the wrong time or you're pushing it or you're like forcing yourself when something doesn't feel like organic to you, or maybe it did 6 months ago and maybe now you're like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I feel like it's all about timing. But
All about timing. And it's also about like being gentle with yourself too, man.
yeah.
It's easier said than done. Like we are human beings, so we're
Yeah.
gonna go through the same experiences, but you have to really just be gentle with yourself because a lot of things are out of your control. You can only just do what you can do, and as long as you're
Yeah.
doing your best, everything else is gonna just fall into its place. That's what
That's
I'm believing.
so true. I mean, and really like when I try and pause and think about like what my 8-year-old self or 16-year-old self would think about this life,
Yeah,
like that's all we're trying to do is just like heal our inner children. Like,
that's
so
it.
I
Yeah,
mean, really looking at it like be gentle with yourself. Like we're all, no matter like what status or what you're doing for work, I do feel like I don't know if you relate, but I feel like I'm like working in fantasy life a lot. So it's like you're traveling to all these places and you're interacting with movie stars and you're just like, it's all not reality in so many ways. So that when you come home and
mhm.
you're able to be like, but just like take a minute and savor what is that like Pinterest quote of like the things you were pining for before and now you're living it and you're like, so have your heart set on something else, but you're like, take a moment to savor it and just be gentle with yourself of how far you've come to even achieve what you are right in this moment.
Absolutely. And that's something that I'm currently doing now, was just taking the time to like really be still and to like remember this is things that I prayed for.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think after doing it for so long and being around this, I mean, I don't like to like boast, but like I see a lot of celebrities, obviously, right?
Sure.
And it doesn't ever get old to me, but I don't get like, oh my gosh, it's this and that. Like I don't know. I think I probably got accustomed to it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy what I'm doing. I love seeing these major stars, but I don't get so like fangirly,
Yeah.
really. And then when I go home, like, oh snap, did I just meet Denzel
Oh,
Washington?
I do that all the
Like,
time.
like what? Like, did this really happen? I think you're so involved in the moment. You're
Hmm.
not even thinking twice about what's really happening. You're just like focused on that very second, like getting the job done. You're not even
Yeah.
realizing what that moment is. And that's why I also like pictures. My family, my friends make fun of me. It's like, you always want to take a picture. You always want to take a picture. And it's like, yeah, because you got to capture those moments, even
Yes.
if they're candid moments, because you look back, you're like, dang, I was really there just having a good on conversation with Viola Davis. And like, I mean, if you don't
Yes.
have a picture, like it's not real.
I mean, I can't relate more because that literally is all my third arm is an iPhone. I'm always capturing content
Yeah.
for work, but also personally. And also when I'm on
Oh,
press
social,
tours and I'm
yeah.
like, here, get together, here, get together. And people are like, oh my gosh, thank you. Cause I'm like, you're right. First of all, what you said, I think kicking it into high gear is so much part of the adrenaline of these like fast-paced events that if it's an event, it's a Comic-Con, it's a premiere, right, whatever the red carpet is, you're just like, I need to be professional. I have 2 minutes with this person. I need to convey that I'm a
Exactly.
serious professional. And there's been so many times. I mean, even on Top Gun, I remember just like there was so much of fantasy life happening on that press tour. It was an awesome like career milestone. But then like going back after Venice Film Fest, and I was like, I just sat and watched the movie behind Tom Cruise for 2.5 hours. Like, and then you leave and later you're like, I don't think I'd even promised that I had processed that I had been just in Tom Cruise's orbit for so long
Yeah.
until afterwards you get home and you're like, oh. But there are so many instances that you're like, if you didn't get a picture, and part of it's like, I get that like posting like your highlight reel all the time. I don't know. It's what we do. And it is like our digital scrapbook
Mhm.
of the modern times. And it's not to be like show offy, but it's just like, I don't know. I want to be inspiring and encouraging. And also that like, I'm still excited to do this. Like it's not getting lost on me at all as much as I'm not like fangirling.
Yeah.
It's just, if you don't take a picture, and sometimes there's something to be said for it, but anytime that I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy it and be in the moment, I've regretted it
Exactly.
afterwards.
Exactly. And you speaking of the Top Gun shoot, that was, I don't know, that shoot was just so, that premiere was so like magical. It was
Yeah.
majestic.
It
It was so
was.
majestic. I honestly couldn't believe what was happening. But of course, in that moment, I'm just trying to be cool. But
Of course.
I couldn't believe what the heck was happening right now. Like Tom Cruise was just, I mean, everything was so good. I don't want to boast about it, but
Yeah,
it was really amazing.
it really was. I mean, we're on a boat, first of all. I mean, I think we were doing press on, there were like military airplanes all over around us. And then the premiere was literally on this ship,
Yeah.
the Midway in San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the USS Midway in San
Yes.
Diego. And then you
And
have Tom just casually, like, pulling up to this premiere on a helicopter. It's like,
yeah,
how
landed, he flew it. Come on.
Like,
I'm like, go ahead and boast. You know, people want to hear
right.
the juicy details. It was just such a magical experience in that way, of so many ways, that I was constantly like, is this what?
For
Is this?
life.
And especially the new recruits, it's so exciting. I always feel like this, and you probably feel this too, interacting with actors. I mean, none of them were brand new for the most part, but maybe not as established as I would say Tom Cruise, but like to feel like this is going to change all their lives forever. And they're so grateful and they're so hardworking and the movie's so good. It's just like such an exciting time to be on a project like that you're like, oh, it's gonna, like Jay Ellis was on Insecure and so loved on so many other projects, but then just seeing something that come to life right before your eyes. I think that's my favorite part of my job, is watching people's dreams come true right in front of me, whether it's the people behind the scenes, whether it's the people filming, I mean, the glam teams, it's the journalists. I mean, there's so many people that it's just watching everyone's minds get blown when they get to work. It's just like you're watching magic in front of you. So
Yeah,
I think that's so cool.
I know. And it's like so good when you see like celebrities fan out over each other. It's the
Yeah.
best. Speaking of that, I do want to really quick add on. I don't know if you saw, but recently on the Golden Globes, here at ET, we captured a really good moment of Brie Larson fangirling over at
Oh
J.
my gosh. I just got the chills when you said it. With J-Lo.
Yes, it was a moment. It was a moment where we were all like, "Is this happening? What's
Okay,
happening right now?"
let me paint the picture.
Talk
I'm
about
sure you've seen it. It was
matriarchy.
reposted everywhere, but seriously, matriarch,
Yeah,
wow. Like
yeah.
seeing Brie Larson, who's an astonishing actor in her own right, like fangirl of seeing J-Lo, who I think she said in Selena, that was, I
Mhm.
should let you tell the story. You were on the ground, but just
Right.
inspired her so much to be an actor. And just the
Yes.
way, I mean, I was like, Brie is all of us. Seeing somebody who's like your
Yeah,
whole life looked up to and never been in a room with, but like you hold so dearly, even if you'd
yeah,
never met them. It
yeah.
was such a beautiful thing to watch unfold.
It was so beautiful, and it was actually a little comical too because I think, like you said, she's all of us. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think at one point in time, we all have either felt that way or really, like did the same thing where we just got choked up because she was like, "I've always wanted to tell you that,
Yes.
I never thought I was gonna even tell you that, and to see you here standing next to me, I gotta go." It was so funny. She's
It,
like, "Yeah, I don't know if this interview's over, but it's over now."
yes.
Like she started tearing up. She couldn't hold it together, and it was just so amazing to see. Because it's like, wow, like you know what? I think the amazing part was the fact that not only did she get to see her idol, but she allowed herself to be human in that moment.
Yeah, you're so right.
Because so many of us are always trying to hold it up tight and trying to like make sure we keep it together and not want to show our true
Vulnerability,
yeah, and, like, she let it all out, and I think that's what really was like, "Oh, thank you for creating space for us to do that," you know?
100%.
Yeah.
I can't agree more. I think I've watched it over 10 times, and every time watching the people, like, behind, like, I can hear, like, her publicists and things that just, like, are as it's all happening, I'm just seeing the
Yeah.
people in the background, seeing people watch the interaction, seeing people on JLo's team, seeing your colleague, like, just everybody is reaction. It's just, like, so warm and contagious, and
It was so good.
it is, I think, so encouraging to watch someone that like, yeah, we're all so masking in our
Mhm.
lives to like put on this, like, we're very professional and we would never do that because that's not the right. And just to think about even these people you think are getting gushed on every day about how hot they are, how talented they are, how amazing they are. They're getting awarded. They're like their performance in this, their skills in that. But like, I don't think people are complimented enough, even in our business. And so
Yes,
I love
yes.
to tell people, you're doing amazing because even if you heard it 100 times, it can never hurt. And so
Yeah,
even in that moment when you're like, I imagine how many accolades, how many compliments, how much affirmation that JLo's getting, you would think. She was so touched and like taken
you
aback.
can tell. Yeah, you
You
can
can
tell she
see
was.
that.
She was
And I'm
getting
like,
emotional too.
ah, women supporting women. I love it.
The
Well,
best.
it's the best. Okay. Well, let's dig in. Tell me about your matriarch. She's your mom.
Yes. She is my mom, she's my backbone, she is my everything. I just really absolutely love the sacrifices that she just made for, my sister and I. Like growing up, I did sports. I was in volleyball, basketball, track. I was in ASB, and there were so many moments where my mom just really just gave up everything that she had going on at work to make sure that I made everything like on time. Even when I was coming to like working jobs, I started working around 16 years old. And I had two jobs at the time in different areas. Like it was in Rancho Cucamonga and in Montclair, which is about 30 minutes from each other in the Inland Empire, not too far from Palm Springs area. And she would literally drive from LA to pick
Oh
me
my
up and take me
gosh.
all around to these different places just to make it on time when I didn't have my car. And I don't know, she's just my everything. I'm sorry, I guess when I think of my mom,
Oh,
I get
no, I
emotional
love
sometimes.
it.
But just the fact that like she didn't really get to live out some of her dreams because, she had kids and was just trying to make a better life for herself, and she did everything that she can to make sure that we had what we needed, but also supported us what we ever wanna do. Like, she never was the one like, "Don't do that," or "You're not gonna make it here." Like, she was always very encouraging, like, "Go do whatever it is you wanna do. Nothing's stopping you." And I really think I got my independence from her.
Oh,
Just watching her being independent and being a single parent raising us, it just kinda, like, instilled inside of me, like, if you want something, go get it. Don't wait.
that's amazing. I
Don't wait at
feel
all.
there's so many similarities with how my mom raised us. And my dad was in the picture for many, many years. And there was a time that he wasn't. And she just, I can't even imagine now, especially like all of the extracurriculars that me and my three siblings are in. And I'm like, all you're doing is driving
Mhm.
from across town. And the fact that like multiple times a week, weeks on weeks, and to just make these sacrifices, even if it's like the sacrifices, any kind of semblance of personal time, like moms are amazing.
They are. They
How
really
old
are.
was she when she had you?
She was, I believe, I want to say 30 or 31 when she had me. Yeah, I think she was 31.
And you said you're 32 now. So you're probably
Yeah.
like, wow, my mom literally had a 1-year-old right now. Like, how would my
Yeah,
life
I
be different?
know. I mean, I can't see myself doing that right now. Like,
No.
I do want kids soon, but yeah, I'm okay right now. I'm
Yeah.
okay.
I'm sure she probably would be like, go ahead and wait, chase your dreams because your
Oh
whole
yeah,
life will, yeah.
she keeps telling me like, all right, just make sure you do whatever you want to do before you have kids. Because once you have kids, everything's gonna slow down for you.
Yeah.
So
Did you feel like she sounded like she worked outside of the home and in the home? Because
yes,
she,
she did. She really did. It's funny. I feel like when you get older and obviously you have more of an understanding of like what your parents did or were doing for the best of your ability.
mm-hmm.
Like I feel so bad that I didn't pull my weight in certain areas when she would say like, "Oh, I'm on my way home. Can you guys like get
Start
dinner
this.
started or
Yeah.
do that or clean this, wash dishes?" And as a child, you're just so rebellious. You're
Of
like not even
course.
thinking about yourself. You're just like so self-absorbed, is what I'm trying to say.
Totally. We
And I'm
all
like,
are.
now I'm like, dang, I wish I could have just been there to help her out
I
because,
know.
there was moments too when we didn't have transportation. So we had to get up like at 3, 4 in the morning to take like 3 buses just to get to school and work. And for her to get off work late, then to come home and still cook dinner for all of us. Like she just did a lot.
Yeah.
And I totally get like, okay, like parents are supposed to do certain things, but not all parents
No,
do, you know?
it's true.
So, just I mean, again, just the fact that she sacrificed so much, it just makes me wanna give back to her. So that's what I'm working on right now. My goal is to get her a house. That's
Wow. That's amazing. Does she know that?
yeah, she knows.
Oh, I was like, Mom,
It's
don't listen to this. That
no,
is
she knows. It's hard to
so
keep it a
exciting.
secret.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Especially in Los Angeles, that is a huge goal and I'll be helping manifest it for you. That is
Thank
so
you.
cool. I think you're so right. Parents, good parents, involved parents, supportive, loving parents. I feel like nobody's given a handbook. The older you get that you do see, like nobody knows what they're doing. We're all just children. I feel like I'm always like, I'm just a teenage girl of 36. We're all just figuring it out.
Yeah,
But
we
like,
are.
then you're trying to also raise a human life form and make them happy and let them be kids and support them and teach them all these lessons that nobody's giving you a handbook. Like, I feel like even just with being an entrepreneur, there's so many decisions I have to make that nobody gave me a handbook. But you're right that not all parents do that. And so
Yeah.
like even more so at the time, it was just the norm for you and your sister. Like mom will do anything it takes. Like, and it wasn't like you were being brats. I'm sure it was just like, you're being a kid and you're like, my mom loves me. She's going to, of course, take me to
Yeah.
practice for this sport. Or she's of course going to make me dinner after a long day because that's what parents do. But so many parents don't.
So many parents do not do that. I mean, I've had friends growing up that didn't have like the same support that I had with my mother. So yeah, that's I always felt like mom, like I'm so appreciated, what you did. And just like, well, you guys are my babies. It's all I
Yeah.
had. It's all I know. And it's like, I get that, but like, you still didn't have to do that. Cause there's certain, like, come on now, as kids, we're knuckleheads sometimes.
Yes.
And so, we get on punishment, we do silly things. So for the fact that you still pull your weight and go out your way to do stuff. Like I was just reminiscing with her, my sister in a group chat, and we were just reminiscing about the times my mom like get us gifts on Valentine's Day. Like she would go all out and have these like huge baskets to
Oh,
decorate the house and like wake us up early to have breakfast. Like she would just, yeah, she really did a lot, a lot.
that's a lot. I mean, seeing friends now, like have to do those holidays, not have to, because again, not everybody does it, but like, I'm like on top of, I'm so tired and I only have fur babies and to do like the additional, like the bare minimum is hard enough and
Yeah,
being supportive and having all the extracurriculars and doing like, I was in dance and cheer and I had recitals. And then, I mean, every kid had two things going on. So all you're doing is like driving and coordinating. It really takes a village, as they say. But, yeah, like even the holidays like that, like surprising or doing Christmas morning or just like moms. are the magic makers.
Yeah. And I think back now, I'm like, I don't know how she did it, but I feel like that's the same thing
Mhm.
today when they ask you, like, oh, how do you do it? How do you work these multiple jobs? And it's like, I don't know, I just do it. That's literally what they were doing. Like,
Yeah.
they were doing it.
You just figure
But
it
I don't
out.
know how it didn't make any sense to me how she had the time to
Yeah.
to
Between coming home late and waking up at 4
Yeah.
to go like, okay, in those 2 hours, then you were still thinking about how you could make our day special the next day. Like
Yeah.
that is so selfless and it's amazing.
Yeah. So
And I
that's
mean,
my
and
matriarch right there.
you what? I'm sorry.
I said that's definitely my matriarch right there. I
Yeah.
mean, she's the one that like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my own like desires and stuff that
Mhm.
I'm, trying to fulfill, but I feel like she's the one that kind of keeps me going for the most part.
Totally. Do you
Yeah.
feel like, well, it sounded like her experience and your childhood growing up with her as a single mom made you want to follow in the footsteps as far as like work ethic?
Yes, definitely in work ethic. I will say I'm a little more passionate about than my mom.
Mm.
So I think I have just a tad bit more drive than her. So it makes you want to like go even harder to get
Mm.
back to what she didn't get to do for herself. Because she was so focused on trying to give my sister and I like a better life than she had growing
Yeah.
up, which she doesn't really tell me too much of. I just know that she grew up with her grandmother in Louisiana, my grandmother, so her mom didn't start coming around until, like, we were probably, like, preteens or, like, like we after we were born, is
Mhm.
when my grandmother started coming around, but my mom didn't really have that same relationship that she had with her mom that me and she have. And so it's just, like, seeing her just suck it up and just do what she had to do really instilled the worth ethic inside of me to like go, 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 and just, really try hard to achieve my dreams. But now that I'm kind of at a good space, I'm like, okay, what can I do to get back to her to make her feel like appreciated or wanted or
Yeah.
just do the things that she didn't get to do? Like we had this one moment where we went to the zoo. It was so random. And I'm like, I kinda got emotional. I'm like, "Mom, how have you never been to the zoo? What since what?"
Oh,
Like, it sounded, like, bizarre to me because I'm like, here I am, like, I went to the zoo. I was in Girl Scouts. I've done, like, so many things, and I didn't again, back to the beginning, I didn't know she was putting me in so many different places, YMCA, and just so I can, like, experience life that she didn't
yeah.
get to experience. And it was during the pandemic or, like, around 2021, actually, right after the pandemic, and when they started opening up a little bit, and she was like, "Jazz, before you go back to work, do you think we can go to the zoo?" "Sure. I've never been to the zoo. I really wanna go to the San Diego Zoo." I'm like, "Mom, that's like, say less. It's a no-brainer. It's
Of
easy, easy
course.
call. Like, come on, let's do it?" And so, like, she really had a good time. I'm like, "I can't believe my mom hasn't been to the stinking zoo,"
Then you're
like
like, I am the worst kid of all time. I had no idea that
Yeah,
I'm like, she's missing out on experiences. What can I do?
yeah.
Oh, I
So I'm
feel
like,
that
"Oh
all
my."
the time with like traveling so much for work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been so many places that my parents like never. And I mean, even not, they had a successful business at one point, and I'm like, that wasn't. I mean, they had 4 knucklehead kids, to use your
Mhm.
fun word. I think the priorities were different when you have small children
Yeah,
at home. But I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I just like want to blow my mom's mind. I want like, how can I be successful enough that I can just like take care of her and love on her? And that's all we're trying to do is like repay our matriarchs that
Yeah,
paved
that's
this
exactly
way,
what
so
it is.
we would have the confidence to like pursue and opportunities to like pursue our wildest dreams. But
Yeah.
what do you think, like defining moments of her career slash biggest accomplishments of her life would be?
Oh, wow. Um, I'd probably say back in 2002, buying her first home was, like, one of her biggest accomplishments. I'll never
That's
forget it. I
huge.
think I was 11 years old at the time. 'Cause it was like a lot happened at once, honestly. My grandmother did pass away right before we
Mm.
moved into the house,
Oh,
but, that was the first time she's ever really owned property before, and that was, like, one of her biggest,
that's
like, milestones.
huge.
Like, she always talks about it. I remember she got a brand new house, and then followed by that was her car. It was like a Hyundai Tucson at the time, and both of those, like, she owned and paid cash for.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
did it herself for her with
Mhm.
her own money. Like, that's amazing. My
Yeah.
mom recently bought her first home too. And it's like, it's such a huge, I can't imagine. I bought a home with my husband and like having dual income just for something like that obviously makes those milestone purchases more affordable. So I'm like, what a huge milestone in anybody's life to be able to own something like that. That's
Absolutely.
incredible. What do
Yeah.
you think is the best advice that you've ever received or something that stuck with you that she says all the time?
Um, hmm. I mean, she says a lot of things, but I would say probably the best is um, just keep going. So what? You messed up. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Try again. So she says. She says it like that verbatim.
Oh,
Like
and that's
okay,
come in
so
handy.
what? Like try again. Yeah, definitely just try again. Which is really funny now I said out loud because there's certain times where I think we'll give advice, but not too many of those times that we use our own advice.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to tell her that today. Like, Mom, you told me this. I don't think
Yeah,
you did it yourself. But yeah, just like, okay, so you messed up. Okay, it's the end of the world. Try again.
that's
She
so
said that.
true. I mean, it's spot on. I feel like you get it like analysis paralysis and you don't move forward in a decision, however big or small. And I really, yeah, and I love giving advice and not taking my own advice. So we all need a reminder. What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you admire most about her?
Mm, her resilience. Yeah, her resilience. I think I definitely got that from her. The fact that she just is easy to like bounce back no matter like what hardships she may face. I'm deeply admired by that.
How do
She's like very
moms,
strong.
and I'm sure people like moms are such mirrors for better or for worse. Like, I mean, however you were parented, I feel like parts of you inherit from your mom. And so I'm
Mhm.
sure people would say that about you too, like in just the way that like you're a driving force in your career and like prioritizing your relationships in your life. Like, but we never see it in ourselves, I guess is what I wanted to say. Cause you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know, like what you were saying before. How does she do it? How does she do that when it's, and you're doing the same thing right now, juggling many things on your plates, juggling many
Mhm.
plates in the air. Um, so then one day you'll look back and you'll be like, how did I do that? Where did I get the energy? Where did I find the time?
Yeah.
And we just women get it done.
You get it done. That's
Yeah.
so true. You don't even
Uh,
think twice. We just do it.
yeah. Which I'm sure like a lot of men do too, but I think just like the forgiven, I don't know, not as many opportunities as men, not getting
Mhm.
paid as much as men. Hopefully that's
Mhm.
getting course corrected. Um, women just, they never cease to amaze me. Like that's why I want this podcast to give people their flowers and to just talk about amazing women because it just, it's amazing how much
Yeah.
like people can accomplish. And I'm like, one of my friends shared this meme, of course, because we live on the internet the other day. It was like women get, and this is related but unrelated, periods, childbirth, and menopause, and men just live. What? I don't get it. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, we just have to
It's so
persevere
true.
through all of this, like agony, and we just live with the pain. Like,
Listen, I agree. And you know what? To piggyback on that, I saw another meme that said that us as women only have one good week in the month because
uh
we have
huh.
one week where we're PMSing and the
Yes.
other where we're like, our menstrual, and then the other week we're ovulating. So it's like we have this
Yes.
one good solid week each
Yes.
month. I mean, that is so true. Because I really do have like one good
Yeah.
week where I'm like,
Let's do
even
all
more
the things. We're
inspired.
making plans. We're
Yes.
leaving the house. We're,
And
yeah,
then
you're
it's like
so right.
Sunday again. I'm like, I have attitude now.
Yeah, I know. My former self was more optimistic, and now you're dealing with current self, and I cannot go to these things
Yeah.
anymore. And I'm in a pissed off mood to go do it. It is so true. And despite the horrors persist, but so do we. I don't know. It's amazing with that layer too of it too. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not even like nobody's using it as a crutch. We just walk through our lives with menstrual cramps and like we're just supposed to still give it a 10 out of 10 every day. What? Like, and I
Yeah.
feel like even the phases of menstruation, that's been like a very like, I don't know, I'm on wellness TikTok clearly, but like I'm getting served so much of that and learning that you're like, we have one good week, but still we get it done. Ugh.
You get it done.
Well, sharp pivot back to mom. Did she have any hobbies or was she creative? It sounded like she was making you epic Valentine's baskets and things like that. But do you remember her like making any time for herself to like be creative or have fun?
Not really. And that's one thing that kind of bothers me about it is because I feel like she never really took the time to pour into her the way that she deserved.
Mm.
Um, so she was creative when it comes like the gifts here and there, but she didn't really have a hobby per se. No. I mean, if she did, I don't really know what it was.
And did she spend any time, I think like, well, speaking of like wellness TikTok, and morning routines are such a buzzword now of like, what's your morning routine? Do you remember her having like things she did in the morning just for herself of like, she always used this product or like took care of her skin or like painted her nails or?
Yeah, her morning routine was mostly just like quiet time. Like she would get up, she would pray, and she would like write in her prayer journal for a little bit. So and that's something actually I kind of like inherited from her too. I saw my grandmother do that once as well. So I think her quiet time was really what set the tone for her the day. It's always get up, prayer, have a
Yeah.
little worship playing in the background as she's getting ready. Yeah, that's definitely her thing.
I mean, especially with just all of the noise and technology being even a greater force in our lives now in 2024,
Hmm.
like you have to set the time. I mean, some people meditate, some people pray, but I think just like having some stillness before you're just getting overstimulated all day. It's great
It's so
advice. It
necessary.
is.
It's unnecessary, and it's life-changing too if you haven't tried it, like, you need to make some time for
Yeah.
stillness,
Even
whether
if,
it's in the morning or in the night or just in the middle of the day, make time for stillness.
yes, noise canceling headphones and just be quiet with your thoughts or something
Yeah,
or listening to like a guided meditation. It's so true. I feel like even you extroverts, I'm extroverted. You have to recharge and like shut it all down. But okay, I have some rapid fire questions.
okay.
Is there a song, beauty product, fragrance, piece of jewelry that makes you think of her?
Ooh, ooh, this is a fun one. Song, beauty products, or I would say song, yeah. Um, Bow Wow's "My Baby."
Oh, cute.
To think of her because when I was growing up, I used to be a big, Little Bow Wow fan.
Yeah,
And so when I would play some of his music, she would always like I mean, she would listen in to, make sure it was clean,
of
but there
course.
was
Yeah.
one song that she really loved, and that was "My Baby." So every time we were in the car, she would, like, pick up from school, we would play that, and she'd go, "Oh, put on repeat." Like, "Mom, it's not that like, it's, like, okay, but it's not like a Michael Jackson, like,
Yeah.
calm
I was
down."
just going to say, it's not Thriller, mom. Come on.
Right, like, calm down. But, yeah, I would probably say that one because it was been on repeat several times, I kid you
That's
not.
so cute. It's just gonna transfer. I have songs like that with my mom too, that I'm like, oh my gosh, it just transports me back to being in the back
Yeah,
seat of the car. And like, I love it. What's one
yeah.
word to describe her?
Mm. Ooh, I would say, ah, man, I'm trying to think of a good word that just exudes like love. Can I give you 2 words?
Sure.
Um, a big heart,
Oh,
big heart. She has a big heart
sounds
for
like
sure.
it. Sounds like she always has.
Yeah. Or I would say, you know what? If I go back to one word, I would say selfless. That would be what
Mm,
it is, selfless.
you
And
can
that's
have
not
all
even just
three.
with family, that's like with coworkers, with friends. She's always, always putting someone else over her. So selfless is the word.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think that you inherited most from your mom and have in common? We kind of talked about that earlier, but
Yeah. Worth ethic and um hmm, mm, I'll probably say the worth ethic a little bit. Yeah. Because I was thinking about the patience, but I think I have more patience than she does. But every now and then I kind of see myself like her, like, okay, I'm losing, I'm getting impatient here. Because that's how she
it's
is.
a
She's
true
like, all right
test.
now. Yeah, she can get the impatient. So yeah, I would say probably the work ethic, the hustle and bustle.
I can see that from what
Yeah.
you've shared. Um, well, now how do you recharge? And how do you think she does? This quiet time still? Prayer time?
And quiet time. I mean, definitely quiet time for me. I would assume the same for her. I'm not too sure now. But for me, yeah, quiet time, recharge. Like if I'm not meditating or having or praying, whatever, then it's definitely going to the beach. The beach is my safe haven. I like to go for a walk
Yes.
at the beach or just sit by the water and just breathe in the air and just relax. Like, yeah.
Oh, I miss that so much. I'm a Pisces, okay? I
Okay.
need to be around water. And I'm like, oh, I miss it. I need to go and just like sit in front of the ocean and listen. I like listen to wave sounds on Spotify to get my
I
fix. It's
love
not the
it.
same, but
It's close though.
you
It's
know,
close to
yeah, it does
it.
something.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for something scary?
Oof. I don't think I'd prepare at all, actually. Um, oh
No,
my
you're not a
God.
power pose person or like a pep talk in the mirror or,
I do pep talk in the mirror, but I do that almost every single day.
oh, I love it. Do you write
Yeah.
notes to yourself to win the mirror or?
Yes. I've Post-its on
Yes.
my walls around my bed and then also in the bathroom too.
I love it.
So I think, yeah, just reading affirmations gets you
Yes.
prepared.
100%. It's like a vision board, but with words. I love it.
Words, yeah.
It's amazing. When's the last time you did something just for fun?
Oh, actually 2 nights ago, after work, me and my friends went and got some drinks, and I don't really know how this happened. I know it's something small, but literally I left work at 3 o'clock and didn't get home till midnight. And I'm like, what is going on? I have work the next morning. Like, who would I think I am? But I'm not in my 20s anymore. But
Oh,
it
I
was
love it.
so much fun. It was just like just spontaneous. Like we literally was like, oh, let's just go to happy hour, get a bite to eat because we like miss lunch, and then turn it into something completely different.
That's so nice when you're not like, I'm not looking at the time. I'm not rushing to get home for anything. And I can just like be in the moment. Like, as you
Yeah.
said, there's 1 week a month that I'm going to feel like doing that. But
Yeah, we were literally
so
like,
fun.
we're gonna only be there for like an hour, and
Yeah.
we went to like 2 other spots.
And you're just in it, enjoying your friends. I love it.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's so fun. Okay, final question.
Okay.
If you could say anything to your mom, what would it be? Can we call her on the phone?
Ooh, I can call her on the phone.
Yeah, you called
Hi,
her.
mom. You're on speaker right now.
Okay.
You're on a podcast. We're
Hi,
talking
Debbie.
all about you
Why?
because you deserve to be talked about in a great way, mom.
The
So
podcast is called Matriarchy Party, and I ask amazing, inspiring women who in their life paved the way for them to be amazing and awesome and just give flowers to their guiding lights and matriarchs in their life. So that's you.
that's you for me, mom.
Okay.
All right.
So
So
I-
the question was, go ahead.
Oh,
Go,
I'm
Courtney.
sorry. So the last question I ask is if the guest could say anything to their matriarch, what would it be?
And so I'm calling you right now to say it on live that I love you. And I thank you so much, mom, for paving the way for me and being just my backbone and just being so inspirational. Without you, mom, I wouldn't have to be able to do this that I'm doing now. So thank you and I love you.
Well, I appreciate that, and you're so welcome because you're my baby, and of course, I can't do nothing but love and support you. Whatever you want to do, I'm just so glad you're following your dreams. I'm so glad that you're working in an environment that makes you happy, and that you the money we paid to going to school for, that you're following that career. Because a lot of kids, they change their career after paying all that money to focus on one thing, and they end up doing something else that they're not really happy with. But you did what you were supposed to do, and you're enjoying it and you're loving it, and it fits your personality because everybody say she's doing that fits her personality, that really works for her. And I'm just proud of you. I'm just proud that you became the woman that you became and that you're following your dreams. That I am so proud of. And if I had something to do with that, thank you. But it's just me loving my baby as a mother and supporting her and showing her the way to go, so showing her to be her best her, to be your best you is what I'm saying.
Thanks, lady.
That's
You're
so sweet.
welcome.
I love you
I'm-
so much.
Yes, mommy love you too. Mommy love you too.
All right, mom. I'll give you a call back.
Thank you.
Thank you again for putting me on blast.
All good things.
You ladies have a good day.
Okay,
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
She's
What?
cringing right now. She does not. My mom can't stand public attention
Oh,
like that.
see.
Like she can't handle it. She cannot. She like balls up and yeah.
See,
it's
well,
so
because
fun.
she's so selfless, you said. So she's like trying to
Yeah.
put the limelight on everybody else and like, oh, don't look
Yeah.
at me. Like, oh, even better.
Right.
I'm so glad she picked up.
Thank you. One time I took her to the Mary J. Blige concert, like I surprised her and she had a ball, but when it was time to like go backstage to meet her, she was just like, she was like, she just, I can't do it. Like, I don't like the attention.
Yeah. Oh,
she's
so cute.
very selfless.
You're like, I mean, you have to kind of rip that Band-Aid off over and over in your career. So you're like, even if I'm like feeling a little anxious about something, we're just going to do it. So I'm sure that's like not a scenario she's in all the time, having to just push herself into that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so lovely. Thank you so much for all your time today. It was so great talking to you.
Courtney. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having me. This was fun. I really love this. Like just honoring the amazing woman that's trailblazing the way in our lives. Like, I love this. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. That means so much. Well, if you want to see more of all the cool things Jasmin's up to, give her a follow on Instagram.
Yes.
Is it Jasmin Knox?
Jasmin Knox _ on Instagram, on all social media. Jasmin Knox _
And it's JASMINE.
Yes. No E.
No E.
JASKNOX _
Okay, there you got it. Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
See you
Be in
soon.
touch.